What is up, sexy folks of the...
Every intro now, you've ruined it.
You've ruined it. You've made me self-conscious about my intros now.
Deliver better intros.
This is Dave from Metal Epidemic, joined by my fellow friend Duncan from Metal Epidemic. We are back for another album review, and for this review, Duncan and I have been checking out the new album from Alberta metalcore band Serration. The band's new album, Simulations of Hell, is out on September 15th via DAZE. Formed in 2018 to write Turmoil Worship, Serration have been seeing a steady rise in the metal and hardcore scene.
Why are we doing that?
Well, I just wanted to let people know it was in quotations. The band broke out that year with the release of their EP Shrine of Eternal Life, followed by the aforementioned split with Dying Wish and 2019's Ease Yourself Back Into Consciousness. This led the band onto tours with Morality Rate and Wrist Meet Razor. When the pandemic struck in 2020, the band teamed up with Wax Vessel to put their 2 EPs plus an additional single to vinyl, resulting in the compilation Shrine of Consciousness. Fast forward to 2022, and Serration shared a teaser single, Joy of Creation, through DAZE and began writing and recording what would become Simulations of Hell. Taking influence from early metalcore bands like Seven Angels, Seven Plagues and Misery Signals, as well as Y2K era horror video games, you'll hear heavy riffs and fevered screams cut through by beautiful interludes. The album is punishing and introspective, ranging on topics from brainwashing to worshipping materialistic items to feelings of guilt. The result is 8 insane and expressive songs that boost Serration as a standout act in the world of metalcore. Simulations of Hell was produced, mixed and mastered by Jordan Chase at Oodalali Recordings in Kelowna, BC. Oodalali. That's from a film. I'm sure that's from a...
It is. It's from, what do you call it? It's from the Disney film with Robin Hood.
Oh, yeah. Robin Hood. That's the one.
I thought you were going down the Hootenanny Road, and I was like, that is Jules Holland. Hootenanny!
No.
Anyway, these jokes are only funny to people that have kids or are in the UK during New Year's Eve.
Yes, which is nobody listening to this review. So we're going to move on.
Not Serration anyway.
So, this is classed as an album, being 8 tracks long. However, only lasts about 13 minutes.
That is a call that I'll take.
How many times, though, Duncan? How many times did you take that call? A lot. I bet you took a lot.
Few.
Yeah, very easy to rinse. I definitely spun this a good 7 times. Not going to lie, I will put all my cards on the table here, or my main card on the table. It was all about the snare. It was all about the snare.
I think
snare card.
We can officially close the investigation as to what happened to Lars Ulrich's snare sound. I think it's officially, the case is closed, Dave. You know what? I'm going to take this file, which I've just stamped close. I'm going to open this filing cabinet in my mind. I'm going to put it in there. I'm going to close it and say, case closed.
Well, see, it brings me to the point that St. Anger actually should have been an amazing album had they only made a metalcore album. That snare would have been perfect.
This has, like, you mentioned, like, their influences from, like, the early days of metalcore, and it's ripping out of this, and one of those big things is the drum production on this.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there are whole moments on here that reminded me not only of Misery Signals, but there's a healthy dose of Chimera in here that I kind of loved. Like, just the way, like, the tightness of the drums, you get those bits where it just hits a stamp, you're like, give me the groove!
Yeah.
And then the groove kicks you. Right.
Yeah, I think I tagged you on Facebook when they dropped the first single, and I was just like, snare, just
snare. It was literally, for the band out there that are listening potentially, it was literally just snare.
Yeah, I there was no, I'd only heard that one track, but there was no way this album was going to suck with a snare like that. Not at all. It is cranked high, it is tight, it is snappy, which just it makes me tight and snappy in my pants, Duncan, because it's tight and snappy. Then I read they had a love for Turmoil, so that was it. Game over. I got the fucking band logo tattooed on my back after that.
Stamp.
That
Love
was
it.
me. That was me. I was in. This may only be 8 tracks long, but in that 13 minutes, this band managed to deliver their personality on a plate in 13 minutes. This is so well executed. It might sound
Oh, here we go. He was mid-sentence and now he's course correcting.
right to the uneducated, right?
Oh, he's calling you stupid, listener.
Shots fired.
Here we
To
go.
the uneducated, this may sound like here's a wee short, sharp slab of savage metalcore. Nothing more, nothing less. However, what I would say is,
Shut up and sit down, you ignorant slut.
you're wrong, because there is so much more going on this album. There is detail in this, and that's what kind of got me excited about this album. Firstly, let me just touch on this. Those riffs
Really
are fucking... those riffs, I'm touching those riffs because those riffs are what they class as God tier, Duncan.
Ooh.
God tier riffs.
God tier.
Every track is absolutely... You could not pack another riff into these tracks. They are bursting at the seams with riffs. Some of them are some of the most ugly and visceral riffs I've heard in a long time.
I've heard them described as God tier.
I've heard them described as that, Duncan.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure I described them as that.
Word on the street is, quote that I am calling right
God
now
tier.
from 3 minutes ago is God tier.
That's my other tattoo. God tier. This is metalcore at the core, but there's definite leanings towards hardcore, and there's some kind of techier moments in there as well. From that side of things, this was just really satisfying to listen to. They know exactly when to just groove, when to play a riff, or when to drop a gear and just go fucking filthy heavy.
Yeah.
The switch ups, the transitions, the breakdowns, awesome. Every single one of them. And I was thinking to myself, who needs these saccharine sweet choruses? Who fucking needs that?
Get you at the bin.
When you've got God tier riffs like this, you didn't need any. I'm getting more Scottish because I'm getting passionate about this. You didn't need any fucking saccharine choruses. You've got riffs like these bad boys. However, they do give you tracks with a little bit more of a hook.
Who needs them? Apparently we do. Yes,
just in case you wanted them, though.
I was wondering where this argument was going, because I was like, there is bits of melody in here.
Yes,
so what we're doing?
There is.
Yeah.
For those that like a bit of the melody, they've also sprinkled a wee bit of that in.
Yeah.
A suicide note in MIDI format featuring Emma from Dying Wish.
Yep.
Has that kind of additional element of a more memorable vocal melody. Gives you a little bit of different texture, different tone. And at first I was like, oh, right, okay. I'm questioning the placement of this track so early. Hold on. Hold.
On a 13-minute album, you're questioning the placement of melody in track 2.
Let me finish. But seeing as this is only a 13-minute album, it actually works, Duncan. It actually works.
See, I didn't question it because I looked at the runtime and I was like,
I didn't.
13 minutes.
I didn't look at the runtime. I was just like, right, let's go. And then it was over before I'd even fucking noticed what had happened. I was like, what? How long is this? 13 minutes. But actually, as a second track, it totally works. And the melodies from Emma are fucking awesome on this. Just makes me even more excited for the Dying Wish album that's coming out later this year. Mm-hmm. I really liked the additional extras on this album. The way the album starts and ends with the tape cassette going into the machine. You've got these kind of like retro video game outros. You've got bits of kind of scratchy vinyl outros. You've got a kind of acoustic transition track between Dried Flowers, Bathed in Tears into Shroud of Gnarled Tongues. Or similarly, the piano piece on Of the Shapes of Humans and Hearts into the closing track, Simulations of Hell. I think all of those little flourishes really kind of showcase what this band are all about and what they are fully capable of. They've really thought about the flow of this release and how it all kind of ties together kind of thematically. Some might listen to this and think, oh no, these like stripped back tracks are a waste on, you know, an album that is 13 minutes long.
Who are these people? Fuck them, Dave. Get them in the bin.
These people out there. I disagree with those people, Duncan. I hear what they're saying and I disagree.
I don't even listen to what they're saying, Dave.
I hear them, I see them, and I disagree with them. That's my other tattoo. I think
your back is just like a walking billboard of catchphrases.
Full back piece dedicated to Serration.
Your tattoo artist must love you. I bet he charges you by the letter.
I think all those little elements, they add mood, they add transitions, they add breathable moments into this album in between all the chaos. But also, this band are just really fucking good at what they do, and it's hard not to be impressed with the kind of skill level that they're bringing on this album. I loved the drumming from Coulter, the bass drum work, the little patterns that syncs up with certain riffs, really cool. Guitar work is savage, as I said, the riffs, god tier. But there's a level of technicality there that shows that shows they have different levels, little bits of melodic lead work, you know, you may be getting that little bit of kind of misery signals in there, or like just even rhythmically, the little tricky little rhythms that they've added in on the tails of the riffs as well. Cody, vocalist, absolutely savage tone. He just screams like a fucking inferno for this full release. Mainly within the kind of mid to higher range, but great texture, really raspy, really kind of full of venom in his voice. Production is fucking awesome. Ooh. Love the production on this. Aside from that glorious snare, which is just beautiful, the rest of the recording is killer. Great guitar tone. It's got the guitar tone of a little bit of a kind of like knocked loose kind of thickness to it, but all the little kind of accoutrements, the little bit of detail, they sit really well in the mix. Nothing gets kind of buried in the mix at all. Bass as well, so it's really nice, just giving you that kind of really kind of warm kind of full bottom end of the album, which I think really works well with that metallic kind of guitar tone that they've got, and the kind of like scorched earth vocals that you're getting, which really just give the album this feeling of vitriol. The only complaint I have is I wanted like another 20 minutes. 13 minutes was awesome and it showcased the band really well, but I wanted even more of it. I just thought, give me 30 minutes of this and the band might need to report me for harassment at that stage, but give me the 30 minutes. That's all. Aside from that, this is fucking awesome. Duncan, what did you think of Serration and the new album?
The reason I was laughing earlier on is whenever you're saying God tier, all I'm hearing is goat here. I just like imagine there's like a fucking horned Black Phillip goat beside you. For some reason, I don't know, you just kept saying goat here. And I was like, what the fuck is he on about? God tier.
God tier.
Let's put a space in there. Yeah, like the cool thing about Serration is that I think they've nailed their identity like so clean and crisp in a way where I genuinely think that in isolation I could pick out them very easily.
Yeah.
They're an amalgam of lots of different things in a really interesting way, but the way they spin, that kind of more modern spin on what they're doing, which is definitely paying homage to the old school, I think is just lush. Like you described those riffs as god tier, I describe them as angular. I think they come from like weird, like precisional angles that shouldn't work, but really, really, really do. And the way that, and they don't sound like Dillinger, but Dillinger utilizes similar technique of almost hitting you with the guitar, coming at angles that shouldn't necessarily make sense, should be almost disorientating and off-putting, but musically work, and Serration do it in a different genre and a different style, but it's the same idea. Lots of really, really cool technique here, whether it's slides, picks, twists, turns. They're not afraid to really make the guitar not just a riff machine, but also something that adds character and a level of like discomfort to their music. Vocally, I think the tone is spot on. So it exists in kind of two tones, which is that really distorted kind of guttural lower tone, and that high pitch kind of almost, it's in the death metal range of screaming, which I kind of love. Also reminded me a little bit of old school metalcore. It reminded, it was one of those things where I almost a chimera element started coming out, where I thought I remembered when Mark Hunter early on used to do those kind of savage discordant screams. That's kind of what it reminded me of, and I think it sits really, really well in there. Drumming is incredible. Like really, really, really well done. Very inventive, very just very smartly put together, and the production aids that, very much like yourself. Hard not to listen to that snare drum and just be like, oh, do a little Patrick Bateman face where you're like, you know what I mean? It's like instantly become Robert De Niro. I mean, it's fucking great. I absolutely love it. I imagine, to Dave's imaginary crowd of people that he's been listening to but not listening to, like if you were like, oh, it's just like that snare just overpowers everything, it's because you are a Philistine that doesn't understand the complexities of music production. It's part and parcel of the sound. It's what makes it work.
Yeah.
It needs to be able, there's so much else going on that needs to cut through that. I need to be able to hear my snare. And this one sounds real and doesn't sound like someone's put an effect over it. This is the fucking real snare that's getting hit. Much like yourself, but totally not like yourself. I didn't have any issues from the runtime at all, 13 minutes. I like the fact that it's 13 minutes. One, because we'll have a lot of albums to listen to over the next month. A 13-minute album will always be listened to more than once. But moreover in that one, I think they cram everything they could into this. And I was thinking about this more. Yes, I think there's probably still some tricks up the sleeve. But I want to hear them on other releases. I don't want to hear them on this release. I still think they're a band that are young enough in their career that you get so much bang for your buck with these 13 minutes. You know what I mean? If you paid a prostitute, an experienced prostitute, for 13 minutes of sex and she breaks at half the moves this album does, you're not walking straight when you leave. You know what I mean? You're like, you're taking a few days off, you're icing your nads. You know what I mean? You're not thinking about sex for a while. Like this album gives you so much, so much, that 13 minutes I think is, at this level anyway, the perfect length. It kind of reminds me of the aggressive savagery of like a grindcore album, which is designed to hit you with so much ferocity and so much of everything that after about 15 minutes you're like, cool. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, time to get up. So I wasn't against that as much as you. Very much like yourself. My kind of caveat would be, I think they could do one of these every year. I wouldn't like to wait a couple of years and then get another thing. I think at that level I would be like on the level of, come on, let's give us something longer, guys. The melody from Dying Wish Frontwoman on A Suicide Note in MIDI format, which is a great name for a song, is fucking excellent. I love it because the opening track is a kind of quasi-intro, quasi-savage attack, and then you get this section that opens everything up. Really, really, really kind of dark, but with a really beautiful chorus. And then the album really just like hammers you for enjoying any second of that melody after it. It's kind of like, you hold on to that because the rest is not like that. I think that works incredibly well. This is just like, it's so precise and so well placed. Very much like an old Japanese man cutting a bonsai tree. Every movement is done with precision and with purpose, and the delivery creates an aesthetic that is beautiful to behold. I think this is fucking awesome. I think Serration maybe have dropped the gauntlet now down for other bands to come at them. In the world of kind of, it's hard to even call them a metalcore band.
Yeah.
Like the elements are there, but I think there's so much. I think they've transcended that a while ago, like at least like 13 minutes and 8 songs ago. They've transcended that genre. They exist somewhere in a really interesting bubble of very smartly paced, technically precise, angular music, which has all the savagery that a modern metal fan or a modern metalcore fan would like. It's a brilliant release, and yeah, we've talked at this stage about 7 minutes longer than what the actual album is. So maybe we should bring it in for a review. We get accused occasionally of speaking too long on things.
Duncan, we're like a really old school prostitute. We really give you your money's worth on these reviews. We're giving you a good 20 minutes for that money. You know what I'm saying?
And what is evident to me is you've never paid for sex. Which I shouldn't be surprised by. I shouldn't be surprised looking at that visage. I can tell you've never paid for it.
Okay, so scores for this new album from Serration. I'm in 4.5 from me. This is a high scorer. Fucking loved it. I need more. That's all I'm going to say. I need more. Duncan?
Yeah. 100% with you. This is a 4.5. I think these guys have nailed it. I cannot wait to see this live.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, honest, I think this is going to be fucking incredible live. And I hope that they, get back to it as soon as possible. Like, short releases that deliver this much quality are hard to come by, and leave us in a position where we are now actively waiting for the next thing. So well done, guys. It's excellent.
Well played. So that's the new one from Serration, Simulations of Hell, out on September 15th on DAZE. Links below to the band and the pre-order on Bandcamp. Check it out, have a listen, let us know what you think. That is the review. Thank you for checking it out, much appreciated. We'll be back with another review very soon, but until then, take care. Speak to you soon.
God tier.
I think you're going to say, God be with you. No.
No.
Bye.